Hello, world. This is America's Supermom, and this is a special edition that I call the Corona Chronicles. During this time, we are suffering from a pandemic that is affecting everyone across the world. We are joined with the rules and regulations of being shelter in place, which means we are limited with the ability to go about our daily business, confined to our homes based on a coronavirus that has been sweeping the entire world. For some people, the effects could be mild. For others, it can be fatal. So we are coming together as a community, as a family during this time of difficulty to share what it is like in our part of the world, how we are affected, and the things that we have in common, what kind of problems that are taking place in our industries and in our relationships and finances, and coming together so that we can plan for a better tomorrow. As this epidemic or pandemic crosses the world, we are waiting for relief. We're waiting for the virus to die off and for us to go back to some state of normalcy, whatever that may be, after things kind of settle down. So, what is that going to look like once the dust settles? How are things going to be different? So, as we go through this process, we're coming together as a world to create ideas, strategies, connect in ways that we have never connected before. So, that is the purpose of the special podcast that I call the Corona Chronicles, so that we can get some insight and have empathy and compassion on one another, create new innovative ideas that can not only improve our life, but our fellow brothers and sisters across the world. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you guys for joining me today. I am really excited to have my next guest. She is a fellow podcaster. She's got a lot more experience than I. And I'm really glad to have her today because I think this is a great opportunity for many collaborations with different connections that you have, people that are in your network, kind of thinking out of the box during this time that we have in dealing with this pandemic. So, the guest that I have with me today is Melahni Ake, and I'm going to give her the mic so she can share a little bit about her and, where she is today, and we'll just dive into several topics as we feel led. So, Melahni, here you go.
Wonderful. Hello. I'm so honored to be on this podcast with you. This is really an amazing space that we're all learning about. And, podcasting is different because you really
Mm-hmm.
have to put your headphones on, whatever that looks like, and intentionally decide, hey, I think this can add value to me. And so you get
Mm-hmm.
to choose how many programs and how many, sites that you want to learn from. And so I think it's like anything else, it's what attitude resonates with you is who you want to follow and learn from. So I applaud you because this is not an easy space.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to do it, but not many want to really show up and add significant value like you do. So I really
Oh,
appreciate you.
thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's really interesting, to think about radio back in the day, and people would sit
Mm-hmm.
around with their families and learn something, and it goes back to the Christmas story, and drink more Ovaltine, right? Like there's got to be a
Right,
catch.
right,
But
right.
I think today it's not really about marketing; it's just about what we believe, and so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so my journey in podcasting started a few years ago, and it was the same thing. How do I show value? How do I want to influence the world in a
Mm-hmm.
space that I really thought was I went to school for journalism, and I really decided that it was that point in my life that I wanted to show up differently. And so and
Mm.
so this format really provided that access.
Mhm.
It was to connect to people in a different way. We've got social media, but there's something different about this space that you get to like
Mhm.
listen intently to everything in this
Mhm.
two-way communication and put all the other noise outside of what's going on and really
Mhm.
focus. And so that's what I really absolutely love about this format.
Mhm. I do too. Yeah. So, a lot of people, may be on the fence and thinking, "Wow, I don't know how I sound," or, for people that are wanting to kind of spread their wings, get out of their comfort zone. What advice would you give them in this space in terms of getting started?
I don't think it's about being perfect. We started 3
Mhm.
years ago, and, for me, I was like, I had a passion to add value. And so I pulled
Mhm.
people in and said, "Hey, my
Mhm.
platform is I want to help people develop strategies that are overcoming everyday obstacles." And so my
Mm.
program is called Everyday Leaders.
Mhm.
And so it was the theme, right? It was to bring people in that were
Mhm.
leading their life, normal life with success. Uh, and
Mm.
so
Mhm.
and so we didn't know. Like we went to a shared office space. So close your eyes right now and think
Mhm.
of the last time you went into a space that's a shared office space, right? You have all these
Mm.
rooms and you have a conference room that's shared and you have hairdressers and attorneys.
Mhm.
So that's where
Mhm.
we did our very first podcast in
Mm.
a
Okay.
conference room. And it was
Wow.
after hours, but it was still loud. People were in the building
Mhm.
and there were echoes but we had this
Mhm.
passion that we wanted to show up and
Mm.
share a story. And
Mhm.
so I didn't say no to the person that said, "Hey, I'll give you space for this conference room if you want to use it in here." And I thought, "Okay." So, but now I had to convince
Mhm.
my partner, my husband, that that was gonna be okay, right? Because he is all about
Mhm.
perfect audio, and I was like, "Listen, I
Right.
am passionate about delivering this kind of a message. Just go with me." And so he
Mhm.
loves me, so he
Mhm.
said, "Okay, I'll try it." But what he
Mhm.
learned so quickly is he could show up and really add value to me and say, "Hey, why don't we
Mm.
try doing this? Or why don't we try a different microphone? Or why don't we try using headsets? Or why don't we
Mm.
try it like they do in regular studios?" Right?
Mhm.
And so that
Mhm.
was 3 years ago. And so what we've
Wow.
learned now is it's still this we still aren't doing it exactly how we want to do it, but, because
Mhm.
every piece of equipment, it costs a little bit more money, and you have to know how to hook it all up, and you have to know why
Mhm.
you wanna sound the way you do, and I don't think
Mhm.
any of that matters. I mean, it doesn't matter,
Mhm.
but it's what
Right.
you wanna do with it, right? It's how you kinda
Mm.
tweak it to your own unique, connection with your
Mhm.
audience that's listening so privately to you, and how do you want that connection
Mhm.
to come across? Um, and so
Mhm.
I just think it's so personal, and everybody's journey is so different, and many people are using, so many streams like this one, like Anchor, which is a
Mhm.
great, easy
Mhm.
place. You plug in your microphone and you go. Uh,
Mhm.
don't leave that
Mhm.
passion inside of you, is what I would say. Don't leave it inside of you. Get it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I love that. And, I love the concept of, this was a passion for you and your husband joined you in that passion. So that space in between where you're having this passion and he may not be able to see what it is your passion is. What would you say to somebody who may be in that place? Because a lot of people are being disrupted with their industries. They're going to be trying new things, and a husband's vision may be something, a wife's may be something else. So, for somebody to kind of navigate,
Isn't that
what
the
I
truth?
mean, through that, what advice? Yeah.
Because now, right, we're under this quarantine. We're in the middle of this COVID-19
Right.
when we're doing this. And here's the thing, right? So you're in this
Mhm.
space. So lucky for us, we have had home office environments for many years. So we're used to being here
Mhm.
together and we're used to being creative. And our
Mhm.
basement is a full whiteboard. Like that's just who we are.
Mhm.
But if you're not
Right.
like that, right? If you have just now
Mhm.
decided that you want to start your own podcast, your own, series, your own blog, whatever, and
Mhm.
your spouse
Mhm.
says, "What are you doing? Are you nuts?" It,
Right.
it's about the vision, right? And so your vision
Right.
and your passion, that's really go back to this whole thing, why did you get married? How do you support each other?
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be like what we do, which is, all on board and every recording, Joe's in the over there on the mixer and doing all these things for me because
Mhm.
that's his space. He loves it. If he was an accountant,
Mm.
there was no way he would be doing this stuff for me. But it's really
Right.
lucky because we really share a lot of those same experiences that we're like, "Oh, how can we make this better and how can it be fun?" Um, but I would say
Mhm.
there's value to everybody. So if I was doing this and I was married to an accountant, I would be like, "Help me figure
Mhm.
out my books so that I can profit from this. How do I have events? How do I do?"
Right.
So there's everybody can add value to you, whether so
Mhm.
say your husband's a doctor and you're wanting to do this. Okay,
Mhm.
what kind of guest? What is he interested in? And who are the people that he influences
Mm.
that you also have friends and interest in that can then share,
Mhm.
right, on the back end, like something like this
Mhm.
today? What are they experiencing? I mean, that would be a great podcast
Mm.
for somebody. There you go. I gave you an idea.
Yeah. That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, because I think when we're in that space of doing the routine, and this is the issue is, unlocking that passion that has kind of been dormant, and we've just been going through life like robots
Mhm.
sometimes, and I think it's this space now that we're in to be able to reflect and think, man, what were some things I used to do in my free time because you're so busy going, going, going. But now that you're in your house, you're like, man, I used to work
Yep.
jigsaw puzzles
Yep.
or something, or, things like that. So I think it's very important that time too. Now, what type of process did you go through to kind of find out if this is your passion? Because you could have done blogs or you could have done, videos or different things like that or articles. So what was it that really made you say, this is it, podcasting?
I don't know that I still know that this is all it is. But what
Mm,
I did
mhm.
learn is that when so I helped develop a radio station at our school in high school. That was back in the '80s, all right? So
Oh, okay.
and then every
Mhm.
job that I have had, every job, I went to school for broadcasting at Ball State and, came home because just, I
Mhm.
wasn't the whole rah-rah, stay in that college atmosphere, so I came
Mhm.
home and started working. But what I learned is about myself is every job that I had, I got pulled into not maybe in marketing, but I was part of developing, trade shows and I was part of the ideas and I was part of a
Mm.
committee that did this and I did a lot of fundraising. And so those things that really
Mhm.
made my heart sing, I got really in touch
Mm.
with. And so it we became really easy. So I didn't have to go into a marketing job, but, the roles that I had,
Mm.
like leading sales teams or doing training, and developing training departments, it was always, "How can we integrate the things that I love into that?" And so that's where it
Mhm.
just constantly
Mhm.
added value to my own life to learn, what's the technology? How could we do this? How could we deliver our messages to our customers and our internal teams in a way that would be different, right? That would connect them, that would be engaging.
Mhm.
And so I think through all that, it has just, again, uh, you, why don't we
Mhm.
start this? And
Mhm.
and so I didn't have it figured out,
Right.
but I thought I really do want to share people's stories about how they're overcoming things in the world,
Right.
but it's because I think people care about
Mhm.
it, you know. Um, but
Mhm.
what I learned,
Mhm.
Lachelle, this was really interesting. I think after the first year, is that many
Mhm.
people that I had asked originally, I maybe begged them, "Hey, would you please tell your story?" And they're like, "Are you nuts?"
Mhm.
You know? Because they didn't think they had a story, right?
Right.
They were like, "Why
Right.
would I ever wanna do this? And where is this gonna go?"
Mhm.
And so but the people that
Mhm.
joined me, I mean, I did a recap in 2019 from the first year's group, and I said, it was amazing to look back and say when they actually went back and listened to what they said during the interview and the questions, that
Mhm.
you think into, it made a lot of people feel differently about themselves. There's something about talking
Mhm.
through it and validating what
Mhm.
your beliefs are.
Mhm.
And that made
Mhm.
them decide to be health coaches or start blogs or start companies or
Awesome.
do things differently just from asking them to have a conversation. Now
Mhm.
that is
So
really
true.
powerful when you think about the opportunities that we have as podcasters to really say, how am I going to add value
Mhm.
to an audience? And and then from
Mhm.
delivering that, what can I do to add value to my guest? So it's
Mhm.
huge. I mean, it
Mhm.
really just fills your heart when you show up. Like I said, if you want to do podcasting, your
Mhm.
husband's a doctor, what do you guys care about with the community that you serve already, right?
Right.
Or if you're an attorney,
Mhm.
how is your husband helping the community right now?
Mhm.
And those are the things that people care
Mhm.
about to launch your process and make it really not, I can't say
Mhm.
fun in this world that we're living in right now, but make it interesting so that
Mhm.
people will want to follow you and
Mhm.
that will want to help you build that community that you want to experience, that you want to try.
Yeah, I love that. I love the whole concept of really somewhat being intentional, asking these questions, diving
Mm,
deeper than just the surface. And I think a lot of times we have so much noise that kind of prevents us to be in a space to where we do focus on, wow, this is something that I value, or this is a non
mhm,
negotiable for me, or this is a core belief, and you don't really have those moments sometimes until you are in a space where you are answering questions
mhm.
from other people and really beginning to formulate your own ideas and
Mhm.
identity. So
It's so
that's awesome.
important because think about
Mhm.
when we're busy, maybe we work in, maybe we did work in a shared office space or cubicles or a bank.
Mhm.
And how many times
Mhm.
people just,
Mhm.
they come in, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. How are you? I'm fine. And you don't get that one-on-one
Mhm.
opportunity with a lot of people unless you're doing a review, right? Come on into this boardroom. We're going to do your annual
Mhm.
review. Uh, and that's the time when you feel
Right.
most validated, right? I get to say what I
Mhm.
feel. I get to understand. I get to have a part of. And so this is a part of this personal growth journey that I think people have forgotten about. And it's really important right now.
Mhm.
It's what are those things that
Mhm.
are important to you that you want to learn about,
Mhm.
you want to explore, you want to bring a community of people with you and celebrate
Mhm.
those things that you're passionate about. And it's okay, right? You
Mm.
get to choose. This is your life. So you get to choose whatever you wanna do.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
it can be basket weaving,
I
it can
love
be,
that.
putting
Mhm.
down floors, it can be, how to run a copier. I don't care.
Mhm. Right.
But there's somebody, right? There's somebody when I
So
was going
true.
through, my certification for the John Maxwell team, there was a person that would
Mhm.
always be on calls, and the thing that I remember her saying the
Mhm.
most, Rashida Jordan, she would say, "People are waiting for you to show up. They wanna hear your voice." And I thought, "How does she know
Mm.
that?"
Wow.
But you know what? But it's
Mhm.
true.
That's awesome.
It's true. Either people ahead of you that have
Mhm.
said, "I experienced this, but oh my gosh, this person seems wise," or people that haven't yet
Mhm.
experienced that to
Mhm.
go, "Could I really do that?" Right?
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm. So true. Now, what happens with the transition of thinking, from doing something as opposed to adding value? Because I think there's a little bit of a difference,
Ugh,
with the mindset that kind of be in a space of adding value. So, what was it that happened for you that kind of solidified that
ye
type of
well,
mission
I
in
think it
your
starts
life?
early. All of us, if we go back and
Mhm.
start to understand our story, who influenced us, and so what
Mhm.
really And, when you wake up in the day, what makes you want to just go out and help somebody? What is that? And where did that come from? And
Mhm.
so it could be, your mother was a stay-at-home mom and cooked all the meals from scratch. And so you're passionate about cooking now,
Mhm.
right? And so you close your eyes and you think about that first
Mhm.
experience when that person really made you feel like you were in a safe place. And so for
Mm.
me, it
Mhm.
was, my grandparents and my father had passed away, and so I watched them my whole life as I traveled with them. They were song evangelists, and and so we would go
Mm.
from state to state throughout the summer. I would go with them every summer, and I would make a lot of friends, right? So
Mhm.
so here we go, that personality type
Mhm.
of I wanted to meet people, and I wasn't afraid of that. Uh, and
Mhm.
so those characteristics
Mhm.
that they helped me explore, right? And so I learned very
Mm.
early to how to connect to people and how to show up in different environments and not be afraid to
Mhm.
learn new things, be curious, learn new things, and just want to show up to say
Mm.
how you know I'm kind of the outcast here, so how do I come in and make myself
Mhm.
valuable to this group, right? And so I think it was
Mm.
inborn in me to show up and try to do that.
Mhm.
And so it's really authentic when I say, great, I'm going to go into a new workspace,
Mhm.
or that's why I love contracting work now, because you get to learn from the foundation level. Who are all the people on the team? What do they care about? And how can you help
Mhm.
them? What is that one thing that you can do to help them? And so that's what it
Mhm.
is, right? It's in podcasting. You say, well,
Mhm.
great. I want to talk about this
Mhm.
subject. Well, for me, it's pretty broad. It's how do you develop strategies to be a leader in your life? Uh, but Lachelle, there's a lot of people that
Right.
say, "What does that mean? What does that mean? What is an everyday
Mhm.
leader? What is
Mhm.
leadership? How do,
Mhm.
how? What do you mean? I get to choose. I
Mhm.
manage people. I manage my family. I'm I manage tasks.
Mhm.
I've gone to school. I have a career. I don't understand this whole, like, what's an everyday
Mhm.
leader? Why I don't need that, right? And I go,
Right.
it's not complicated.
Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, because it's like a foreign language for some people. It's like some of the characteristics that actually go into formulating different positions, we don't really dissect them and dive into them deeply a lot of times. It's like, well, this person did this, I'm just going to follow in their footsteps, not really dissecting it to the point of recognizing what values they had. What is it that
Yes.
inspired you about that
Or
person
even,
and
like, I'm
the
looking,
role that they
friends that
have.
are saying,
Yes.
"I'm looking for a new career. I'm really burned out. I don't know what to do." I'm like, "Hey, I would
Mhm.
welcome you, right, to be involved in these types of classes." "Yeah, that's
Mhm.
not for me. I'm not really a leader." And I think, gosh, the message, right? The message isn't about
Mm.
you have to be somebody different. It's how do you find your strength and your
Mhm.
skills so that you can do the things that you love?
Mhm. So true. Yeah, and so those dialogues. So this is something that I love the way. Now this is something you work and practice on a regular basis,
Ugh,
right? Through the
every day,
leadership
every
program that
day.
you're a part of.
And so the communities. So
Mhm.
let's talk about that
Mhm.
real quick. The communities that you begin to build.
Mhm.
You're a huge part of that.
Mhm.
You are a huge part of that for me. But you have to, one of
Right.
the things that you learn in any kind of training is, if you're an accountant, if you're a
Mhm.
doctor, if you're an EMS, if you're a teacher, if you're an insurance examiner, you have to put yourself around the people that are going to make you
Mhm.
better in that skill or anything. If you're a cook,
Mm.
you're gonna watch Julia Childs
Right.
and Emerald and all these people. So it doesn't matter what that gift
Mhm.
is, but when you decide you want to do something,
Mhm.
you've got to put yourself around people that can help you get to the next level, that can encourage you. And so
Mm.
for me, I have a
Mhm.
morning devotional every day at 7:30. Tomorrow is our 6-month anniversary of starting
Mhm.
this morning devotional, right?
Wow.
And so when I started it, it
That's
wasn't
awesome.
anything like, okay, it's got to look like this, it's going to last this
Mhm.
long. You know, those kind of personalities, I have a
Mhm.
little bit of that in me, but I would say it's
Mhm.
not the way it started. It started because I was going through a transformation in my life, and I thought, I need accountability. I need
Mm.
accountability. So if I don't do
Mhm.
this, I am never going
Right.
to get motivated to get back up and have a schedule. But I
Mm.
made it really
Mhm.
intentional, as we talked about before. I needed other people to
Mhm.
help me keep
Mhm.
accountable so that I could learn a new skill, learn a new book, learn things that I hadn't
Mhm.
focused on, uh, because my life seemed like it was in chaos.
Mhm.
And so, just like right now, what we're all
Mhm.
experiencing, this is not what we normally do, right? We don't normally stay in our house for
Right.
a month or two.
Right.
And
Mhm.
and so, how do you bring structure back into your
Right.
life? And I guess, you know, letting yourself be creative
Mhm.
and say, well, if it's a Bible study, if it's just a social wine girls group, right? I've told my girlfriends the other night, let's just do a wine club
Mhm.
online and let's just bring our wine glasses and catch up, right? It doesn't have to be anything
Mhm.
like, okay,
Mhm.
you're going to have a list of here's an agenda. Just plan something because you feel in your
Right.
heart that it's going to make you grow. It's going to change you. It's going to help connect you to something,
Mhm.
uh, to give you structure, to give you accountability.
Mhm.
That's it. And just do it. Do it because
Mhm.
you want to feel good.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you have permission to feel good.
I love that. Mhm. Mhm. I love that. And I love the element too where a lot of people dream big, they aspire to do different things, but there's that missing piece where they're not intentional about creating the space for that
Mhm.
dream to become a reality. So by that is, like you said, the lessons in leadership and strategically building a community
Mhm.
that supports that type of thinking. So that is just amazing. Now, would you say you've always been like that, or what was it that was pivotal
You
in
know,
making that
I
true for
was
you?
raised as an only child, so you understand that. And
Mhm.
I think you have to make your own
Mhm.
safe
Definitely.
space, right? And so when you wanna connect to somebody, you're like, "Okay, I don't have a
Mhm.
lot of time to waste because I need somebody that's gonna go along with whatever if I instigate a plan or instigate a project, who's gonna help me with that?" Right? And so
Mm.
you show up to be a nice
Mhm.
person, you
Mhm.
show up to add value, you show up because you wanna actually have a
Mhm.
friendship, right? And so I think that's like anything else, doesn't
Mhm.
change as we get to be
Mhm.
adults. It's just now how do we do it even bigger?
Mhm.
And and so as you sit here and say, okay, you've got bills to
Mm.
pay, you don't have, your job looks a little bit different, you can't see your friends as you normally would, you can't really even go see your family, and so it comes
Mhm.
back to you.
Mhm.
Mhm. And you've got to create that. And
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
so that might
I
be
love
new
it.
for people. And that's really scary
Mhm.
because right, so
Absolutely.
who do you reach out to? And
Mhm.
who are those people that I can actually trust to bring into my circle? Mhm.
Right. Mhm. So true. I love that. Now, so I'm sure on your journey of leadership, you've read a lot of different books, and we have a lot of time on our hands. So either books or podcasts. What would be some things you would
Oh
recommend
my
for people
gosh. So
to
first of
get
all, I
started
would
with?
I would go to the Tom Roth Strengths Finder. I would do that book first.
Okay.
Because that book is like
Okay.
an assessment. So you can download it online, you can get it. It gives you a code, and
Mhm.
it basically says, "Read these first, I think, 20 pages,
Mhm.
and do it when you're in a quiet space." So everybody's got a quiet space now. So read those pages, and then it makes
Mhm.
you go
And
online to do a
definitely.
20-minute
Mhm.
assessment, and it gives you your top 5 strengths. So these are just, characteristics,
Mm.
strengths. So if you were a leader in your job, but now you're home and you're doing everything online and you've got this huge family like Michelle,
Mhm.
It tells you why you're able to juggle and balance all those things because it identifies those characteristics. And so now it helps you, if you have a
Mhm.
whiteboard or you have your journal, then you can get really creative with, well, how am I using those skills right now? And so I think for everybody, like that's a great
Mm.
place to start with Strength Finders. And then there's so many creativity books. So
Okay.
if something you're trying to create a business, right? I would say the next book I would buy would be Purple Cow,
Mhm.
with by Seth Godin. And
Oh yeah,
I
that's a
love
good
that
one.
book. It just makes you think differently about how you're going to
Mhm.
market something, to be really strategic to connect with an audience.
Mhm.
Um, And, Dan Cathy,
Mhm.
has, the with Chick-fil-A, his book, I would definitely buy
Mhm.
that one. Um,
Mhm.
I would, Dare to Serve
Okay.
with Cheryl Bachletter. It's a great book for leadership and servant leadership.
Oh, I haven't heard
Um,
that one.
and so, 2 more, I'll give you Dave Ramsey's
Mhm.
book of Financial Peace. Uh I think that's really important to get people kind of structured and saying, how do I, if I don't have anything and I have to start over, what does that look like? Right. So that's a great foundational book for you as you're stressing out about everything at home until you get your money, from the government. um, and then the last book is my favorite leadership book, which I've taught every week since March 22nd, 2017, and that is the 15 invaluable laws of growth. And that if you are a person of faith, it is most similar, I believe, in what I've studied, is I feel like it's the 10 commandments, but just in layman's terms, so that you can understand how to apply leadership lessons, and really begin to live your life with success and have confidence in what you do every day.
Mhm.
This is one of those it's one of those books that it takes you through and helps you break down the application of what you would do to live an
Mm.
intentional, really profound life, to add value to people. And
That's awesome.
it's wonderful. And so,
Mhm.
I think those books, the mixture of those books is really how I have stepped into more of how to be a better influence in the world so that I can use my
Mhm.
voice to connect to people.
Mhm.
And so that's what drives me, and so
Mhm.
from that, I create groups of people that I wanna be surrounded by, like you, that just say,
Oh.
"Let's show up to add value to other people,
Mhm.
and how
Mhm.
can we accomplish that?" And let me just tell you something.
Mhm.
When you start to grow,
Mhm.
when you start to decide, whether it's you've gone to school, you have a family, you have grandkids, whatever point of your life you're in,
Mhm.
if you just sit down, close your eyes, and say, but I want to become better. I want to influence more people. I want to give back more. I want to be
Mhm.
able to earn more so that I can give more. And you have that
Mhm.
attitude. My mentor told me when you start this process, it will take you just a little bit to get started. But
Right.
in 1 year, if you just, we have a calendar year, but if you say that day that I decided to do this, and you
Right.
show up for yourself and you
Mhm.
do these activities, your life will change so significantly that
Mhm.
you won't even recognize the person that you were or you believed you were a year ago.
Wow. I love that.
And it's so
Mhm.
powerful. And it
Mhm.
is so true. And so,
Mhm.
those things you didn't think were possible, or I couldn't reach out, or I couldn't try this, you've mastered it,
Mhm.
right? You've mastered it, and now you're
Mhm.
on to the next thing. So I just
Absolutely.
want to encourage people that, it may look scary. You may not think, "Ah, that doesn't affect me. That's not exactly what I'm
Mhm.
looking for." Um,
Mhm.
Never say never, right? Don't discount the fact
That
that
absolutely.
you actually matter no matter what you've done in
Mhm.
your life. You can have the significance, just like we hear Walt Disney and Steve Jobs and Colonel
Mhm.
Sanders, right? If you
Right.
decide today that it's time for you to make a
Mhm.
change and to start something that could create a whole new ripple effect for the world, it's your time. It's your
Mhm.
time to do that.
Absolutely. I love that. So, what's the best way for everybody to get a hold of you?
Oh, girl. All right, pick out your pens. This is really easy. It's go to my website, which is
Mhm.
everydayleaders.com. You
Mhm.
can go there. You can click on all the icons where you can go to the Facebook group, which is a public group. It's Everyday Leaders
Mhm.
group on Facebook.
Mhm. Mhm.
My
Mhm.
podcast, which is on all podcast platforms that you can listen to, which is Everyday Leaders 50 in 50, the number 50, and then
Mhm.
IN 50.
Okay.
Lachelle was one of my guests in 2020, in fact.
Yes. Yes.
And
Uh,
yes, and so,
mm,
but Instagram and LinkedIn,
mhm.
Melanie Ake on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
uh, Everyday Leaders 50 and 50 on Instagram. You'll find me in a
Mhm.
lot of all social media platforms. But what I'm
Mhm.
trying to create is a platform so that people can connect to resources that if they
Mm.
decide that today is the day that they want to try something new, to hire a coach,
Mhm.
to get a mentor, to be a mentee,
Mhm.
whatever that looks like, we've got resources all over those pages. The Facebook
Mhm.
group has a mentor mentee page that you can find somebody to help
Mhm.
you, through a 5-week challenge. Um, and
Awesome.
so, it's just celebrating people. And so if you are in the spirit of wanting to add value and help, click on connect, let's have some fun, and let's
Mhm.
share your story with the world.
Awesome. I love it. Love it. Well, I just want to thank you again for your time and so glad that we connected and you stay safe, with your family and look forward to more collaborations with
Thank you,
you.
Lachelle. I love you. You're such an awesome person and friend, and just keep at it. You're doing a great
Uh,
job.
Thank you so much. And we'll talk
All
soon then,
right. Bye
okay?
bye.
All right. Bye. What a great interview. It is just amazing to see how simple Melanie made it seem about just finding your passion and following that thread to wherever it is that you want to go, and just relaxing and being gentle with yourself. You don't have to be perfect when you get started, and it's always a work in progress, something that you can grow into, and you can always change if you decide something doesn't work. I just love her attitude about it. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, you can email me at info@lachelleatkins.com. You can reach out to me through Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, and I have a YouTube channel. I want to thank you guys for listening today. I encourage you to stay safe, continue to dream, and if there's anybody that you think could benefit from this podcast, please feel free to share it. It doesn't cost anything to give people information and resources and things that will encourage them to keep hope alive. We are now in a pandemic, and many people are suffering from depression or just uncertainty is just giving them anxiety. So please feel free to share things that you feel resonate with you, because it's an opportunity to be a lifeline for some people that we don't know what their situation may be. So again, I want to thank you for listening. Have a great evening.